Hello everyone and happy Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for tuning in to Gazoviz on your Christmas Eve. We're doing weekend forecast for today's video, nice and simple. So as always on Christmas Eve, we have a look at the weather for the week ahead, taking us from today, Christmas Eve, all the way through to New Year's Day. So day by day, I'm going to show you what weather has in store through this Christmas period. I'm afraid if anybody's waiting for a cold and wintry Christmas and up to New Year period, well, wait goes on for another year, because this year certainly isn't it. In fact, it's going to get very mild after Christmas as we get towards the run up to the new year. Anyway, it is going to turn very, very mild for a couple of days before temperatures possibly fall back a little bit, but only back to average for the new year itself. But certainly no sign of anything particularly wintry this Christmas. Been a very, very poor decade for cold Christmases, although we started off, of course, with the freezing and snow-covered Christmas of 2010. But since then, really has been a terrible decade for cold Christmases, and we're going to end it on a mild note generally, although Christmas Day itself will have a slight seasonal feel about it, but this is not a cold Christmas by any means. So I'll get on with the weekend forecast for you very shortly. First thing I've got to do, though, is say hello and Merry Christmas and thank you very much to our latest PayPal donor. So we have had a donation through PayPal from Andrew Barker. Andrew Barker has become Gazovi's latest PayPal donor. So a big thank you to you, Andrew, for doing that. You're helping us to pay for Gazoviz.com and keep the content online. So thank you so much for your donation. And thank you to all of the donors through this year. I've had lots of donations coming in for Gazoviz throughout the year. You've all contributed to the website and you're helping us to keep the website online and also to keep the content going. So just a huge thank you and Merry Christmas to all of our donors. Of course, a special thank you to latest donor Andrew Barker. There's also a patron, of course. We've got 66 patrons. So hello, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to our 66 patrons. Thank you so much to all of you. We hope you've enjoyed the content through this year, and again, just thank you so much to all of you for your kindness and for your generosity in helping to keep Gazoviz.com going financially. So a big thank you to all of our patrons, a big thank you to all of our donors, Merry Christmas to all of our patrons and donors as well, and a special thank you to latest PayPal donor Andrew Barker. Thank you so much, Andrew, for doing that. So, as I mentioned, it was back in 2010 that we had a cold Christmas. This is how the chart was looking for Christmas Eve on 2010. And, of course, it was the December to remember, so at this point it was freezing cold and snow-covered across most parts of the country. True sort of Dickensian Christmas type scenes. And I say this is the weather chart for Christmas Eve 2010, with high pressure sitting up to the north and west of the country, low pressure across Italy, and pulling in these very cold east or northeast winds, bitter cold. There's the upper air temperatures for Christmas Eve 2010. -5 Celsius iceberg pushing through the country. -10 Celsius iceberg is sitting in the North Sea. It doesn't look dramatically cold, but bear in mind most of the country was snow covered at this point, so it kind of feeds itself, if you like, and it was very cold on the surface. I remember temperatures widely went down into minus double digits overnight, Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, really severely cold. And I remember also the icicles being incredibly impressive, very large icicles after an earlier minor thaw that had occurred a couple of days before Christmas, and then it all froze up again. So the snow was laying deep and crisp and even across much of the country on Christmas Day 2010 under this ridge of high pressure. There wasn't all that much snow around, a few snow showers peppering the coast, but the main thing, of course, that the snow was on the ground. So to have a white Christmas designated, it's quite strange really to have a white Christmas designated. You need one snowflake to fall on a designated area, usually an official Met Office site. So I would actually say that the Christmas of 2010 was much more indicative of a white Christmas, really, where snow cover was laying on the ground across most parts of the country. That, I think, is more of a white Christmas than, say, getting a sleety shower somewhere across the country sometime through Christmas afternoon. Hit and miss sort of sleety shower, and it's gone through. I remember 1999 had that, actually. There were a few sleety showers around, and that was classed as an official white Christmas, but it wasn't particularly cold or wintry, really. And 2010 was a much more a much colder Christmas and more deeply snow covered. So I've always thought it's a bit strange the way we designate white Christmases in this country. Actually, I would designate 2010 as much more of a white Christmas compared to that sleety shower that blew through in 1995. But there's the upper air temperatures for Christmas Day 2010. Again, freezing cold across most parts of the country. Just after that, though, it did thaw out. And that was the end of the December to remember by New Year 2010-2011. It was actually into a much milder airstream with all of the snow and ice thawing out of the ground. As I say, since then, it's been a very poor decade, this, for cold Christmases. You can usually expect at least 2 cold Christmases a decade, sometimes more than that. The 1990s had several of them, even though the winters were generally mild. There was sort of 1992, 1993, 1995, 1996, 4 proper cold Christmases in the 1990s, despite that the winters overall were quite mild. But this decade, as I say, since 2010, we haven't really had anything cold, have we? So just by law of averages, we must be due a cold Christmas before too much longer, but it certainly isn't going to be this year. This year is not going to be that long-awaited cold Christmas. So let's get on weekend forecast then, and this is how the radar picture is looking at gazweathers.com. So we've had a mix of sunshine and showers through the morning. Really, you can see there have been some quite heavy showers across parts of northern England and also down in towards Wales and southwest England. I have had some reports of lightning flashing away actually down in that southwestern corner. Quite unusual to get lightning on Christmas Eve. I'm sure that will be Christmas Eve that sticks in the memory for those people that have seen lightning this morning. Further north, there's also been showers across Scotland. You see 1 or 2 of those actually turned a little bit wintry over the hills, so there may be a little bit of snow around this Christmas, but it's going to be primarily over the highest ground of Scotland within these showers. I mean, showers will be dying away anyway overnight and into tomorrow. Otherwise, there's been quite a lot of dry weather around, especially across more of these southeastern parts of the country. There hasn't been too many showers yet across the Northern Ireland either. Here's today's synoptic pressure chart. So low pressure is more or less still in control of weather, but it's gradually slipping away to the east, and we're beginning to raise the pressure from the west. So for the rest of the afternoon, we're going to keep these showers going, particularly in northern and western parts of the country. They will move eastwards at times as well. The best of the dry weather this afternoon will be across central and eastern parts of the country. And I think overall these showers are going to ease in intensity through the course of the afternoon. So the risk of lightning and thunder reduces down in that southwestern corner. But there could still be some quite heavy showers around up until the end of this Christmas Eve afternoon. Temperatures today are ranging from around 6 to 12. 12 is 54 Fahrenheit, so very mild actually down in the southwest. And that of course is fueling those heavy showers. Quite a bit cooler though up in the north. So overnight tonight, we're going to find this ridge of high pressure toppling in across the country. That's going to kill off a lot of the showers. We'll find the showers dying back to northern and western facing coasts. Most places will become dry tonight with long clear spells. There could be the odd fog patch here and there. But I think they'll be quite hit and miss. Many places will just stay dry and have clear spells. What showers there are will be mainly in the north tonight, and they may be a little bit wintry over the highest ground of central and northern Scotland. Temperature is going to be quite chilly, so we go down to around 3 or 4 degrees across most parts of the country. Some rural areas could get a bit colder than that. There is a chance of a ground frost in northern and also in rural areas. So you may open the curtains tomorrow morning and find that it's nice and white on the ground. Overall, I don't think Father Chris has got too much to worry about tonight as he's getting the presents out. He may need a thick coat and a warm drink, but I think it's had colder Christmas Eves than this. So I don't think there'll be any problems for Father Christmas. Tonight into tomorrow, Christmas Day, so the high pressure is still there across the country, although already it's showing signs of giving up the ghost, really, as low pressure is developing out to the west. So Christmas Day, it's not going to be a bad day at all. It starts off mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells, possibly the odd isolated fog patch. Any mist or fog patches will go quite quickly. And then we're looking at basically a dry day, really, much of the country. Plenty of sunny spells. Could be a wintry shower across the north of Scotland, but that apart, there won't be any snow around tomorrow. By the end of the afternoon, this area of low pressure in the Atlantic is probably bringing thickening cloud in towards the far west and southwest, but it should stay dry through daylight hours. Temperatures will be colder than recently, so there is going to be a seasonable feel. It's not a cold Christmas Day, but with temperatures ranging from around, say, 4 to 9, which isn't too far from average, really, for Christmas Day, I think it's going to have a bit of a seasonal feel about it, and it will get quite cold quickly on Christmas night with a fairly widespread frost setting in through the early part of the night, but then that will go later in the night as low pressure moves in from off the Atlantic. So we start Christmas night probably with a widespread frost, but then cloud and outbreaks of rain, along with freshening winds spreading into Northern Ireland, Wales, southwest England, and that pushing up towards the Midlands and central southern England by the end of the night. Scotland, north-eastern parts of England probably staying dry through the night. The frost could last all night across Scotland, otherwise temperatures will be lifting up. And as this rain moves into the cold air, it may turn to sleet or snow over the Pennines, for a time anyway. Sort of through the course of Christmas night. So that could be quite seasonable, I suppose. Temperatures lifting up in the south, probably up to around 7 degrees by the end of Christmas night. As I say, frost could continue across Scotland for much of the night. Into Boxing Day, this area of low pressure is pushing northwards and eastwards across the country, introducing a milder southwesterly flow. So cloud and outbreaks of rain to start the day through Northern Ireland, Wales and England. That will spread northeastwards. Again, could turn to snow for a time over the Pennines and particularly over the Scottish mountains, but will turn back to rain through the course of the day as milder air tucks in from the southwest. And generally, it's just a cloudy, damp day with outbreaks of rain through many parts of the country. The rain could turn quite heavy across England and Wales as well through the course of Boxing Day afternoon. Pretty strong winds in the southwest too. They might gust up to gale force around some of the southwestern coasts on Christmas night and then through the course of Boxing Day. Despite the rain, at least it will be mild in the south with temperatures up to around 10 degrees, that's 50 Fahrenheit. Cold in the north though, just 4 or 5 degrees for Scotland and northeastern England. Low pressure gets out of the way on Boxing Day night and high pressure takes over the weather pattern then. So Friday will be a mostly dry day actually. There could still be some rain left in the far southeast first thing. That will go very quickly. Then we're looking at a dry day with plenty of sunny spells. These southwesterly winds will start to drag more cloud in towards western parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland, possibly with some light patchy rain up there. But most places actually will be dry on Friday. Temperatures a little bit on the cold side actually, around 5 or 6 degrees. When the far northwest with those southwesterlies, it will be turning milder. Into Saturday, and high pressure then is centering over Germany. Low pressure is out to the west of the country around Green Iceland. We're drawing up these southwesterly winds into the north and west of the country. So quite a lot of cloud and showery outbreaks of rain for Scotland and Northern Ireland on Saturday. England and Wales mostly dry. The best of the sunshine will be in the east and the southeast as we go through into the course of the afternoon and evening. This cloud will gradually spread southwards and eastwards across the country. Temperatures on Saturday are going to be very mild in the north, up to around 11, 12 degrees possibly, but Scotland and Northern Ireland still a little bit on the cool side though in the southeast at around 7 or 8. By Sunday, we're all into these long fetched southwesterly winds. They'll drag in a lot of cloud with them. The best of any sunshine likely to be across East Anglia, possibly eastern parts of Scotland. So generally to the east of high ground, northeastern parts of England too. But that said, cloud will be enveloping the country with those southwesterly winds, and there will be further outbreaks of rain across parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland as well. Some of that will be quite heavy and persistent, particularly on the western side of high ground. Temperatures will be very mild on Sunday, widening to double digits, I would have thought, 10, 11, 12 degrees. On the eastern side of high ground, with a bit of phone effect, maybe even milder than that. That's Monday, so by then we're starting to go into rather cooler air mass, although we'll start Monday on a very mild note, possibly exceptionally mild overnight Sunday into Monday. Again, lots of cloud, some showery rain in the north, that gradually spreading southwards across the country but weakening as it does so, with brighter skies following along from behind. Beginning to turn a little bit cooler as well through the course of Monday afternoon, with temperatures in the south probably starting off at around 13, maybe 14 degrees, but generally dropping back a little bit to around 10. In the north, we may start off at around 10 and drop back to around 7. Something like that. And then we go through into New Year's Eve, which we start to see low pressure then developing out to the northwest of the country. So New Year's Eve starts mainly dry with sunny spells. Could be a bit on the cold side though, maybe some ground frost around, and then wet and windy weather begins to move in from the Atlantic, turning wet and windy in the north and west. The south and east should stay mostly dry. Temperatures probably back close to average, really, with a range around 4 to 8 degrees Celsius. Overnight, New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, possibly turns a little bit stormy, so as Big Ben chimes in the new year, we could be wet and windy across many parts of the country, with gales in the north and west and heavy outbreaks of rain too. That low pressure rattles through during New Year's Day itself, and then we're left in a show run of westerly winds, so New Year's Day probably starts wet and windy, especially so in the east. That gets blown out of the way, and then we're left with sunshine and showers, and those showers will be heavy in the north and the west. They might even turn a little bit wintry over the highest ground of Scotland. Temperatures on New Year's Day, again, probably not too far from average, with a range of around 4 to 8 degrees Celsius. Finally, just having a chart to weather outlook. So showers around today, but there will be dry weather too. Christmas Day is looking mostly dry. Will be a little bit on the chilly side, a rather seasonable feel, but plenty of sunny spells. It's going to be a nice day, and no problems if you want to get out and about and walk off your Christmas dinner on Christmas Day afternoon. Same can't be said for Boxing Day, as heavy rain is moving in from off the Atlantic. It may turn a little bit wintry over the highest ground of northern England, Scotland. Mainly it's just rain though, and introducing milder temperatures from the southwest too. Friday, we're into mostly dry weather, and then these dry but quite cloudy conditions continue through the weekend. Turns very mild across most parts of the country. That's as far as we can go with the charts at the weather outlook to Monday the 30th of December. And by then, we're looking at plenty of sunny spells and still very mild across most parts of the country. Probably wet and windy by New Year. So, that's it for your Christmas Eve weekend forecast, extended Christmas Eve weekend forecast. So, all that remains, I'm going to say in summary, so it's going to be quite a mixed Christmas. So, Christmas Day actually going to be relatively dry and seasonable. Boxing Day, though, turns wet and windy. After Christmas, we turn increasingly mild, and it does go drier, but also quite cloudy. And then by New Year, we're probably back to wet and windy conditions once again. Now that's done, all I've got to say is Merry Christmas to all of you. We hope you have a fantastic Christmas Day. And just say that tomorrow's Christmas Day historic video, we'll be looking at winter of 1939, 1940. I'll be taking the day off, so there's no regular weather videos tomorrow, but we will have the historic video looking at the winter of 1939, 1940. I've already recorded it. It's a proper epic, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting watch. So have a look at that if you have time. Otherwise, though, just have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll see you on Boxing Day with a regular week to 10 day video update. Right, that's all for now. Merry Christmas.